Subjects talked about in this podcast are for both entertainment and education purposes. Facts and processes can change, so ask questions if you're unsure of the task you are completing. This is the Loose Screws Podcast. This week's guests, retail service technicians Sam Rush and Tom Bartle. Welcome to episode 36 of the Loose Screws Podcast. We'll update you and catch you up on how we're starting at 36 in a little bit. But my name is Andre. I'm the co-host and also the producer for this episode and I guess this entire podcast. But besides that, my real role in the real world outside of podcasting is actually a Kwik Trip service tech supervisor. I've been with Kwik Trip about 17 years. Actually, I just passed 17 years. And a majority of that has been with our store engineering department. And for those who don't know how Kwik Trip kind of operates, we have all of our stores. But in addition to those stores, we have support roles that support those stores and ensure that they have what they need to serve our customers every single day. And that includes service technicians and IT people and a call center and tons of different roles that really improve the customer service that we can provide as a company. I did have a couple years at retail, which was fun, and it gave me a lot of valuable insight in how our stores operate. Today, I'm also joined by my co-host, Isaac, and I will let him introduce himself.
Yeah, like Andre said, I've been with Kwik Trip for almost 23 years, and Kwik Trip does like to promote from within. Just like him, I started at retail, was a store leader for 8 years before becoming a service technician. There was a very small group at that time, like 4 of us. Now there's a couple hundred, and the primary role of this team is to take care of all the equipment at the stores and keep it up and running.
So I suppose you're wondering how we're starting on episode 36. Well, 1 through 35 is actually behind a paywall, which seems kind of weird to start with a paywall, but it's actually a reverse paywall. We pay you to listen to it, meaning you work for us and then you have access to those. Those episodes are kind of episodes that we talk and interview people in our department and their roles, and sometimes, we don't want to share necessarily all the sensitive information. And I also didn't ask those people if I could just broadcast their interview. So I don't really feel comfortable going back and releasing those episodes and then, surprise, you're on the internet.
Speaking of that paywall, today we have 2 technicians with us. Their role is an RST2, or Retail Service Technician 2. We have an RST1 that typically does our preventative maintenance, more basic roles, the introductory role. These guys are out there fixing 150 plus different pieces of equipment. On the technical side of it, a lot more challenging, difficult, a lot of things to know and learn. We're going to have them share their experiences, and both of these guys actually came to us from outside Kwik Trip for different reasons looking at this role. I think they both like their past employers, but we're looking for some different benefits. So it's Tom and Sam, and we'll let them introduce themselves and tell you how long they've been with Kwik Trip. Tom, we'll start with you.
Yes, thank you, Isaac. So my name is Tom Bartle. I'm an RST2 with Kwik Trip, store engineering. I have been in this role. It'll be 3 years in January, if I did my math right.
Time flies.
It does.
Honestly, it feels like just yesterday we were doing an interview in a room, and I remember the fryer pump, like the fryer motor turning on. So we're in the middle of an interview, and friggin' all these noises are going off, and it's like, we'll just wait. But sorry, I cut you off.
Go. You're good. No, because I remember that. I also remember, as in that interview, I remember looking at the fuel monitor and seeing a red flashing light, and I remember Isaac going, "Yeah, it's not supposed to do that." So I mean, the places and things that have come from there is amazing. I came to Kwik Trip from a cheese manufacturer, producer, that I had been at for 21 years. That was a long time, but I was a manufacturing team leader, so middle management, kind of responsible for everything. You're responsible for production, for logistics, machine uptime, working with the maintenance teams. They had a lot of great training, a lot of great maintenance training, which really supports what I do here.
All right, and then we also have Sam with us, which I think you've been about the same timeline, right?
Yes, yep. I started April of 2021, so 3 years, I think in like 6 months. Yeah, so my little, history. I worked for Menards for about 7 years as a department manager, and I kind of learned a lot of skills for retail, and through that, and after I left there, I kind of had, a couple of maintenance jobs, and my most recent job before Kwik Trip was property management for an assisted living. And I was the maintenance manager, so I was kind of in charge of all the buildings and keeping their equipment up and running. Kind of almost relates to this job that I have now. And my wife was a third shift retail employee, and she saw a posting and thought, hey, this is looks like a good job for you. And not that I was currently looking for a job, but you always want to improve yourself and find that job that fits you.
I guess, too, Andre said time flies. On the other hand, I look at you guys have been here 3 years, which there's a lot to learn. I know, Sam, you recently said, I finally feel like I got this and know what I'm doing. It takes a lot of time. We always say it takes 6 months just to feel comfortable at all. It takes a year to kind of get into the role, and then it just takes that experience. And that 3-year mark is often where everybody really hits their stride and just goes. You guys were both in there and rolling pretty quick, and like Andre said, it seems like it wasn't long ago that we sat down and interviewed. On the other hand, you guys are out there getting it done. I don't think about you guys every day and wonder if you're getting it done. Your stores like you. You're offering great customer service. You're both always positive, which is a big reason we brought you in here today. You work hard and get the job done. So that's where we'll get into looking at those other benefits and why you left your company and why you're here, because you both spoke well of your company. You just said it, Sam. I wasn't looking for another job, but the opportunity was there. I love Kwik Trip. I've been here 23 years. If somebody would have came to me and offered me everything in the world I want to do, and I got to go fishing and they paid me $1 million a year, I'm gone. But I love Kwik Trip. It's been a great company.
Are those roles out there? Can we get a fishing job where we just fish all the time?
I think they're pretty rare, but they're kind of out there. And it probably takes a lot of the fun out of it too.
I think commercial fishing is pretty brutal.
I mean, in the end, we know this is still a job, and some days we hate the job, right? But we can talk about that a little more too. But we'll start with Sam and kind of go into why you did make that switch and made that change when you really weren't looking for something else.
Yeah, basically there was a lot of selling points. My wife sold the values and the benefits to me.
She did a better job than we did.
Right? Yeah, I definitely was pretty nervous at my interview. I learned what a thermal block on a Frankie was really fast. So
I forgot we used to make people do that. Here's a $5,000 heating tower. Change out this $300 part in this.
Right.
Well, and we don't always have a whole lot of space, so he got to sit there about 2 feet from two guys grilling you with questions.
Yeah, yeah, in an office.
Yep.
But yeah, no, my wife loved working for the company. She was just working third shift, which was for our family at that time, and she saw the posting and I applied, and yeah.
So we offered you the position, though. You still had to make the decision to take it, and it sounds like you said you still liked your other job. What was the thing that you took the interview, but it wasn't like you came into it saying, I'm done, I'm out of here, I hate that other job. If I get offered, I don't care what I got to do, I'm getting out of here.
Right.
What were the things that were that turning point?
I
guess going forward, you've worked for us for 3 years. How many of those things were true, and
right.
And what do you like about what you're currently doing?
Yeah, so obviously I'm gonna bring up the profit sharing. That's a big thing, for a lot of us, and something to look forward to at the end of the year after the long hard year. But I like the freedom that we have, in our work vans and our own stores. I like the fact that we are kind of in charge of our own stores and making them happy and building that relationship with them. And then I know a lot of places, like my previous place, we were micromanaged a lot. And I know you and Andre kind of oversee us, but we still have that sense of freedom and out there getting our work done and being trusted to get that work done. And I enjoy that. And
the store is your boss. Like
Yes.
I said, I don't worry about you guys, because if the store asks and you take care of it, there's nothing I need to do. There's no reason to micromanage. And
right. Yep.
you are in control of your destiny.
You'll know fast if we're not doing our job right. So.
Yep, that doesn't get done. And if the stores don't like you, you'll know fast too if you're rude. And
Yeah, but no, I enjoy building that relationship with the store. There's just many benefits to that, working out of your own work van, and that's a benefit of its own.
yeah, not having to share a vehicle with somebody else. There's other companies that do that. Also not having to buy your own tools and
Right, yes.
put your own gas in, where a lot of companies, when you're a technician or almost all auto mechanics, you own all your tools. It adds up. Yeah.
Yep. Another big sell was my previous job. I was on call every weekend, 24/7. We are still on call now, but in time it's changed quite a bit. Right now we're every 6 weeks, and there's always somebody that's willing to take your weekend if need be. But yeah,
That's where it's good having a team too that
Right.
works together.
Yep.
That's for sure.
But yeah, it was definitely, you had mentioned before, it was definitely pretty hard, that first year. You doubted yourself, and was this a good fit? And I think during my interview, you both had mentioned, once you get to that 3-year mark, it's just going to be like a light switch. And I mean, it was, right around that 3-year mark, you just kind of fit into that role, and, things change. We had different equipment, there's different training that comes out. But yeah, I feel like the team that we have worked out great. There's always a lot of resources, and I feel like as our team, we all kind of clicked. Like I have Tom's, number on my phone, and I have Andre's and Isaac's and everybody else, and we just have that support system that really calling the service desk is our last resort, and because we just have.
I guess I thought calling me was your last resort.
Right, yeah, maybe that.
Hey, I know you got this. Good luck, man.
Right,
That's
there you
about what
go.
I feel like I offer anymore. But.
Yeah, so no, that was, that's a great perk of the job. Not only all the resources that we have.
It is. That's what I was just going to write down here. So we made sure we talked about it. There's a lot of support, and even in training. What did you hear? I mean, that's kind of one of the premises of this podcast. Andre talked about our 35 episodes that nobody else has heard, but it's ask that question, and everybody's going to say, if something comes up, just ask me. And it might not be the right person. I joke about asking me stuff, but yeah, I might not be able to give you the technical answer, but I can get you in touch with somebody that can help you out and
Right.
have some other numbers in my phone that we can always get to somebody.
The funny thing is, we talk about that support level. There's so many people at our office that have so many years of experience, and I just have one example. I was at a store. We have a cooler door, really obscure cooler door you're not going to find anywhere else. Called somebody I've known for a long time in our department. I said, I need to find hinges for this cooler door from 2003. And he's like, sure, I'll get you in contact. I get a call from our vendor, and then I see which door you have. What exactly do you need? And we go through it, and hinges are on order. And it's those kinds of things where having that support, and you might not know who to call, but I can put you in touch with them, and those people are there. And I don't think I've ever had a phone call where I pick up the phone and I call somebody and they're not willing to help in our department.
I bet one of the lines you use most, though, isn't that person that you've known forever that's been with Kwik Trip forever. It's like, oh, yeah, Adam just worked on that yesterday. Give him a call. And that may have been the first time Adam did it, but he figured it out and he was fresh in his mind, so you call him.
Yes, that's where I get to pool all that information. Do I know exactly what to do? No, I don't know what the magic coffee box does. Call Sam. He worked on one yesterday.
All right, so Tom, why don't you share your story and your decision-making process in all this?
So I'm kind of the same. I was on, so where I used to work, I was there for a long time, and I was on PM, so night shift from like 2 in the afternoon till 11:30 at night. And it was great, and it was a wonderful thing to do for our family. It took care of our needs and whatnot. My wife had started working for Kwik Trip just as a bakery person in the morning, and then she slowly kept progressing through the ranks, and then she became a store leader. And I was looking at doing some movement at my employer, and was passed over, which is no big deal. It's companies need to do what's in their best interest too, and keep resources and things where they need to still be profitable. But I was looking at my life going, PMs. That's no sport activities. I have 2 sons. They're getting older. Haven't really spent much time with them. Usually I see them in the mornings. It's like, I want to change this. I need to make a change. But I really wasn't like actively looking. And my wife saw an opening for an RST1 position come through. And she's like, you should really put in for this. Like, okay, why not? What do you got to lose, right? You're looking for a change. You don't know what change you're going to do. So I did. And I got a call back from Andre after the interview with Isaac and Andre, and here we are. And I started as an RST1, which for coming from the outside into Kwik Trip, when you're not sure, best choice in my opinion, starting as a 1.
But that being said, you took a pretty healthy pay cut to come to that RST1 position too, didn't you?
I did.
That's,
And
that's hard to swallow too sometimes and make that jump.
And that was a conversation I remember having with you guys, and I had with my wife. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing I had to say about money is it is important. Of course, you got to pay your bills.
Yep.
But lifestyle and being home with your family and having the opportunity to be home with your family, I was the same. I was on call at my previous employer. They could call me any time of the day, and I had to work every other weekend. So it wasn't like, oh, you're only on every 5th, 6th, whatever it might be. You're every other weekend. It's just in the book. You just plan it. And
Well,
now
you
it's
had to go in there then too, right?
Yes.
Our on-call is, you're home mowing your yard. You might get interrupted and have to take a call.
Yep, and there was when you're working your weekends, you're at that building for 8, 9, 10 hours a day, whatever it took. Sometimes on holidays, weekends, whatever it might be, and getting that back and having that feeling like, oh my gosh, I have a life. And Kwik Trip really supports that. The team I work with, again, Sam mentioned it, and I will definitely reiterate, great resources. If you need extra time, we get our weekend schedule early enough where you can look at it and go, oh, that's going to be a problem. But there's always somebody you can reach out to and say, hey, I need this time off. This is my annual trip to a lake. Or, oh, my son's going to graduate this year, and I'm on call that weekend. We're going to do the party. There's so much advance notice of things, and you know what's going on. I'm not gonna lie. That first 6 months, man, did I doubt myself.
Yeah.
Wow. It seems like so much that it's like, what did I bite off? But from personal experience, even though that first, especially when I got into summer, and I always say I had to talk myself off the ledge. I was out working doing a fuel inspection. I was like, it's summer, it's 4 o'clock, I wanted to be home already, and this thing is just not going as I wanted it to. And I'm like, wait a second, you goofball, 6 months ago, you'd just be starting your day. You mean Friday night was nothing, you didn't have it no more, and now it's only 4 o'clock, but you're good, I don't have to work tomorrow, what's the problem? But the compensation loss in money is big up front. The benefits, the scheduling freedom, the opportunities of weekends, the profit sharing, and the bonus potentials, all those things make up for so much. And not only that, but the people I work with. I mean, I have absolutely no qualms with the folks I work with at my previous employer. They were wonderful.
That's what I remember from the interview too, is you truly like that. And your biggest problem, you were on third shift, and people didn't leave there, so that says it's a good company. There were not very many opportunities. You may have said you got passed by once, but there just weren't many opportunities to ever even get on another shift because people didn't leave because it was a good company, which is something to be said there for them, and then for you making a switch to come to Kwik Trip.
Well, it is true because, I thought when I hit the 20-year mark, I was doing great there because the average person that was employed there was 35. So I'm like, oh, I finally hit 20 years. I'm doing good. I got some momentum. I got seniority. And then it's like, oh, man, I'm still just at the bottom of the pool.
35 years.
Yeah, the average was 35 years. And it's like, man, which is great. And, again, they had an awesome profit sharings and awesome bonus potentials, too. But at the end of the day, what really accorded me was, my wife's insistence. And then the fact that, I'm going to be back with my family. I miss my boys. My oldest son now, he's almost out of school. He's moving on into the next phases of his life. And, you don't get that time back. And if I've learned nothing else, it's treasure those moments because when it's gone, it's gone. You don't get it back. And then as far like hitting my stride in this job, you'll bet 3 years, it finally hit me one day when my water softener heater, one of my water systems at home, went down, wasn't working, no water. I didn't think about it. I didn't do anything. I just went and I tore it apart and got it working again because I'm the kind of guy I'm not going to call a plumber if I don't have to.
That's what I said I learned from this job too. You can fix anything. It's just determine if it's worth it, if it's worth your time. I did the same thing this weekend. My furnace went down. I'm like, yep, go figure it out. And now I got to get the part, which, that's sometimes the harder part. Waited, got it, and saved a lot. So that, that saves you too. You look at your wages. I wouldn't have known how to do that or had the confidence to do that had I not done this job. Now you do it. I'm like, yep, I could write that down. That was minimum of $200 it was going to cost me. It cost me $15.
Right. And that's a great feeling.
It's that confidence that you build this role and the amount of equipment we touch and the amount of just experience you gain from working on a thing that you've never worked on, diving in and knowing, hey, even if I mess up, like I'm still supported by my team and somebody will come down here and help me out, makes it so much easier at home.
Does it ever? I mean,
And even other places, I've always said we do a lot of odd type stuff too. We do property closings and things like that. I just said you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Once you know, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing when I get into this, and you guys coming in here to sit and do a podcast you've never done. Not comfortable, but now you're sitting here saying, okay, we're just chatting. This isn't too bad, right? It's
absolutely
part of that too.
The best thing is, like you said, getting comfortable being uncomfortable. I love that the freedom in my day where at one point in my day I could be a plumber, and I'm going to fix an oven, and I'm going to look at a coffee machine, and then I'm going to fix a door or something up on a roof. That variability, that it's not just I'm going to go in and I'm going to take big cheese and make it into little cheese or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's being challenged too. It's stressful. You don't always want to be challenged, but people that are motivated to get somewhere, make that job change like you guys did. You got to have something that challenges you, or it's just like, la-di-da, I made another 10,000 pounds of cheese today. It's just cheese. It's like, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and that thing works, and the store is super excited because I came in here as a superhero.
And that's a great feeling when they're happy to see you when you walk through the door, and it's no longer that, what are you here for? It's like, oh, hey, Tom walked in. All right, that's gonna be fixed, or he's gonna look at that, or
and here's the 20 other things I want you to look at.
Exactly. And that's by far is probably one of the best feelings ever when you walk into a store and they're excited to actually see you. You made somebody's day just by showing up.
It does make my life a little bit more difficult because I walk in and they go, "What are you doing? Where's Tom? Where's Sam?"
Yeah. But that is such a rewarding feeling. Like anything, as we're service techs, we come in and out of stores, and some stores you may go to once a week, or you may not go to them until like every other month. But you build that rapport and you build that working relationship, and all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, I know him. He's going to take care of it. He might break it, but he'll take care of it.
Yeah. The other thing you mentioned was that flexibility. I was thinking about your 4 o'clock wanting to get out of there, but as supervisors, what do we usually tell you? If you need to be there somewhere, don't do that last call. Or communicate like that one. Once you're into it and screw it up, kind of what it is. You can't leave it down and not going. But there's a lot of flexibility there. And if you've got a kid's ball game that's going to start at 5 o'clock, you don't take that last work order and you just say, I just need to be here. So like that one's like, yeah, it's nice out. I want to go home, but yeah, I can finish this up. And next week or tomorrow when I've worked these few extra hours, I can cut out a little early and go do what I want.
The best example I get that too was my son's first day. I was there for my son's first day in high school, my oldest son, and that was great because I was behind the 8 ball a little bit on the clock, and I just reached out to Andre. I'm like, hey, I really need to be here for this. This is going to be his introduction into high school and classes and all this stuff. I'm kind of out of the way, but can I just drive over there and be there for that? And absolutely no questions asked, which was great. I was there for him, and it's those moments that I feel like I missed earlier. Plus, vacation time. I love the vacation time at Kwik Trip. Previous employer, it was, here's your hours. It's based on years of service. You get them every January 1. Use them all year. Here in Kwik Trip, we earn vacation as you work. So you work, you earn. And, well, for me not being on PMs anymore, I have vacation I don't know what to do with because I have evenings off. It's not like, I got to take off on Tuesday night because it's a kid's Christmas play. It's, kid's Christmas play. No problem. Just make sure you're home by 5 o'clock. No big deal. That and the variability of hours. We have to do 9 hours a day. If you're punched in after 8.
You have to do 8 hours a day.
8 hours. Okay.
You aim for 9 hours a day, and you'll work less than 10. And the end of the week you're about 45. But we have a lot of flexibility in that too. You're not going to hear from me if you're working 9. That's for sure. Once again, if you're that guy that likes to work 7:58 and you're not getting your work done, you're probably going to hear from us. And usually it's going to be Andre first that hears from me.
And that I love too because I'm an early riser. I get going at 6:30 in the morning, and I shoot for that 9 because that's that sweet spot. If something goes wrong, you got a little bit of variability, but it's so rewarding to be getting back into your driveway 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's actually the same time that the bus would roll in if my son wasn't driving.
Yeah, so the team sends out an email to their team too, saying when you're going to start. Tom's usually the first email, but I got Sam that maybe got something to interject. But what I like on Sam's email, he's always got what day it is. National Donut Day, National whatever. And it's kind of funny. It seems silly and whatever, but it just adds a little bit of something to the day. And I look at it every day. Yours is probably the only one I look at every single day just because, and I don't know what it means. And I'll be sitting there, and my wife will be home. I'm like, did you know it's national? What? She's like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, Sam.
Yeah, I got that from a couple of guys. I did it for about like the first year, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna probably wrap this up and stop it, And then I got a phone call from, I think it was Kevin. It was like, I need to know what's for dinner tonight. What is the national day? So I don't know, just give something fun for the guys to read, I feel like. And yeah, I wanted to add too quick on Tom's last comment. He was talking about the freedom of having his schedule based on his kids, and I have 4 children, so I I have a very busy schedule. And yes, I agree with him. I like the fact that if a kid misses the bus in the morning, or we have a concert or a football game, you can start that half hour later and work a half hour later, or we have that freedom, to email and like, hey, I have this going on today. I need to punch out for it. And, as long as we keep that communication open, that freedom of having that time to,
Sometimes he tells his wife, oh man, this machine is horrible. And then he's out in the lake fishing.
Right. Yes.
No, that's just you.
True.
Yeah, that's one of the things as a supervisor I try to shoot for, is ensuring my guys have the time they need to be with their families. And I don't, maybe once or twice I've said no to a vacation day because we just have everybody off on a Friday or whatever. But the nice thing about how we've structured our teams is we have built-in relief, and I can work too. So I have a relief tech, which is great because one of you can be off 100% and I'm fine. But then I'm also available, so that means 2 people can be off 100%. And then as long as the other person is also off, like, I can have a certain amount and I can justify having quite a few people off on my team. And still, the key thing is, and at the end of it, is being able to provide that customer service for our stores. So as long as I know I have the people to cover what we need to keep those stores happy, it works out great.
Well, and that's when you talked about the working hours or the amount of hours that you work. It's really based on the work that you have out there and how you manage your day and go. So if you hit it hard at the beginning of the week and work a 10 or 11 hour day, Friday you can probably work 8 and have the store set up for the weekend and be good to go. On the other hand, too, you got 4 kids and it's graduation time and you want to have a big party. It's like, I can work extra overtime and I can take somebody else's on call, and you just make more money and you make time and a half and you can dictate that yourself. So it's like Tom said, right now, yeah, money's nice, but that time is worth way more than that. You bought a new minivan and you got to pay for it. I need to work and get that paid for, and I get that done. And I don't have that headache. So, that's another flexibility that you look at, and it's hard to figure out how much value is in that flexibility, whether it be time off, whether it be pay, whether it be able that you can manipulate that a little bit month by month to make a little extra or do what you need to do. So.
Well, and it's so amazing how everybody has their different, their priority, money, time off, whatever the case may be. And Kwik Trip kind of really lets you, for me, it really structure, yeah, there's been months where, ooh, this has been an expensive one. I think I'm going to do a little more this week. As opposed to, especially to get into the holiday season here coming up, where we're just on the cusp of the big, Thanksgiving Day, which is awesome. Love turkey. That flexibility and that opportunity that, I'm not going to lie, it took me a long time to get used to. I was so, my schedule was always so structured. It was, 2 to 11:30, 2 to 11:30, 2 to 11:30. And now it's, oh, yeah, my son forgot some papers at school. Oh, let's get them to him. I mean, it's really neat that getting used to that when you're so structured.
We just hired several new technicians, and I was thinking about it when I started college, and you didn't have to be in class every day. You were an adult. You got to decide if you actually showed up for class. It's kind of that way too. It's like you said, you had to be scheduled before. It's Friday. You would have had to just been going into work, but now you got to choose. It's like, I could not do this and just go home if I want. Yeah, is that the right choice? No, you made the right choice, which is why you two were selected, partly why you were selected to be here. You make the right choices, you got positive attitudes, and get her done every day.
Well, truthfully, it's so hard to be negative. I can't really find a reason to be negative.
That's kind of annoying sometimes, Tom.
There's so many opportunities, and driving. We drive. Sam mentioned, we get company vehicles that we are able to take home with us, and that's how it's like our work office is in your vehicle. So it's really neat. You maintain that vehicle and you travel. And granted, you do a route, you go to the same areas, but when you're on call, the opportunity to see new things, my gosh. I've gone some places like Crivets. Crivets is not exactly a destination point for me. But I've been there, and no offense to the people in Crivets, it's a beautiful city. You got a wonderful meat market next to our store.
Right.
I've
driven by things that I just follow GPS when I went places, and I covered a lot more area than you, even as a technician. And yeah, there's a place in the eastern part of the state that I could never find again. I know kind of what town it's near, but there's chainsaws stuck in these trees, like 50 of them, and they're just red, green, yellow. But it's kind of cool. And I've driven by it probably 4 or 5 times when I was running those kind of routes, and it's like, I never would have seen that otherwise. And I don't know, made me smile, and it was worth it. You know?
That's the same as these things that, you get out of that, I always drive to Appleton or I drive to Fond du Lac or whatever it might be. It's one of those, I'm going to get to see this today. What's on the road? Or maybe my favorite, I like looking at the junk that people are selling, which isn't junk. It's everything out there is treasure to someone. But you never know what you're going to find.
I always carry a little extra cash just because I might drive by something that's a really good deal and I need. And it's probably only ever happened once. And I drive by and I'm like, I should stop and look, but I'm working and I got other places to be. I never stop. But I do stop and buy Newski's Bacon when I go to Green Bay.
Oh, yeah.
A little ad here for them. But
I was coming back into Holston on a different route because of some road closures. I saw a guy is selling a Porsche in his front yard. A Porsche. In Calumet County. Who'd have thought?
There you go, Sam. You were just talking about getting a new vehicle for your son that's going to be driving soon.
That's the most logical vehicle.
Right? Yes. Porsche. In the
Yes.
snow.
Actually, he'd probably love it.
He would.
He would.
He'd be really happy.
New family vehicle, maybe?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure you can get a baby seat in the back.
Anything else that you got to share, Sam?
I just want to touch on, I know we were talking about selling points. Another one was working holidays. And I know Tom had mentioned holidays. And, I know my wife in retail worked holidays. They picked what shift they wanted. And that's what they had to work. Right. You just have to work holidays. And, that's being RST. That's another benefit is, we find out that year that this is our holiday. And if that doesn't work, well, maybe Tom, he likes Thanksgiving. So I'll work his Thanksgiving. But, he doesn't mind working Labor Day. So we'll just flip-flop holidays. So, that's a huge selling point there.
Yeah, and with the schedule that we have, it breaks up those holidays pretty well. It's very rare. You usually only get one, but sometimes you're the unlucky person who got the 2. But for the most part, we try to make sure that I know when you're running that schedule, we really try to focus on you don't get 2 major holidays next to each other.
So all we look at is Christmas because Sam said it right.
Yep.
Some people, 4th of July is their Christmas. Every year they go on this trip with the entire family, and that's what they want off. And it's easy to trade that away when already here back in October, you had the schedule for next year, the entire year. It's usually pretty easy to get it done, and we're a team. Everybody cares for each other. You look at the guy that's got 4 young kids, Christmas means a lot when you got 6 and 8-year-olds compared to 17 and 19-year-olds that just want to sleep in.
Yeah, big difference.
Even as a store leader, I didn't have kids, and it's like, I didn't really want to work Christmas either, but I'm like, I'm working Christmas, you stay home with your kids.
I guess one of the things we talked about having a van. So a van goes home with you. Some guys park them at stores, but for the most part, if you have room, everybody's vans go home with them every night.
You get paid well for drive time, 25% of the time, roughly.
Yep. When you start your day, it's awesome. Walk out to your van, punch in, go to work. And that's the other benefit that we haven't talked about, well, there's a handful of them, is tools on your truck in inventory. We play with things throughout the year or even over time. I mean, when I started versus now, our inventories are totally different. And it's all based on the equipment we service. And the one benefit we have is, talk about our support network, we have inventory managers that watch what we have on our trucks and make sure that what we have on our truck is what we need on our truck, and you don't have an extra $10,000 to stumble over. Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty sure that when you talk about not having different inventory, there's probably only 2 pieces of equipment that we still have in our stores that were original from when you started. So hopefully it changed.
Yeah, that's true. It has changed a little bit. I mean, the program has changed a lot too, and we talk about all the things we service. This group, the RST group, handles basically anything in a store that's under the roof outside that isn't fuel or a car wash. And we handle a little bit of fuel, but for the most part, we have our own fuel service team that handles all of our own fuel service repairs. For the most part, we have some outside vendors. You have to have that.
You always have that really small writing. Whatever we need, we're going to do and take care of it, because it does benefit the Kwik Trip the most for our 40% profit sharing. So we all look out for that too.
Correct. And then we also have a car wash team, and that car wash team handles, this may shock you, the car wash. So, which I know is surprising. But that actually started in the RST program. We looked at that category, and that's what's really cool about this program. And Kwik Trip is really into innovation, and that's one of the core competencies that I look at. And I look at this program and think, this is how this program is developed, is we see an issue, and we say, how can we resolve that issue? And we see, you guys do that every day with even the equipment. We were talking about Converge ovens, which is a combi oven that we have in our kitchens that uses steam and convection, impingement convection. The interesting thing is, you have to learn and improve yourself to understand, because now it's not just one heating element in Magic Box that makes food hot. It's two heating elements, one that makes the chamber hot, one that makes steam, and then don't forget you have a blower motor that turns and blows air over the food. So it's all these extra things that you as an individual have to learn and change. And Kwik Trip is always pushing forward and trying to find where we can save money, be more efficient, create a better product for our customers.
What we're looking at when we started this program, we were doing 40% of the work. Now the retail service tech group does 75 to 80% of everything in-house. Car wash actually is going for 95% plus, completely in-house. So that's doing almost everything. Andre gets pretty technical, likes to show off his good knowledge here. But really, in the end, it boils down to ask the question. The question might be, hey, I got this problem. How do I fix it? The question might be, we've had this problem, and I've talked to some other guys. We have it a lot of places. I think this might be the problem. Can I try this adaptation to see if it works? Here's how we've been running this on-call forever. What if we did it this way? That's a good question to ask, too, getting way outside the box and thinking. So in the end, to sum this up, thank you guys for coming in today. Done a great job. Helped build this program. Came from other companies and have been happy with your decisions, it sounds like.
Yes.
So
Yes, absolutely.
keep asking those questions and making Kwik Trip and the retail service team better.
We may speak with a lot of confidence, but we are the Loose Screws. All information provided is for general information purposes and can change at any time. Please speak with your supervisor if you are unsure of the task you are completing. Know what you don't know and ask the question.